Hello moviegoers, Ezra here and welcome back to another Ezra review. And on today's video, I want to review Twisters with an S. Obviously, this is a standalone sequel to the classic 1996 movie Twister, which I just recently reviewed yesterday. Now I know that this movie is not going to be released until July 19, but luckily on my country, Indonesia, it was released on July 10, which is today. And I decided to go see it, because I love the first movie, and I love tornado movies, and hopefully there is more in the future. But this is the closest thing we get to another tornado movies, and it's a sequel to a classic movie, And when it was announced, I was like, okay, fine. I guess like I'm not super hyped or excited to watch the movie because I feel like from the trailer, it seems like it's the exact same movie, And well, after watching the movie, I would say that this movie has the vibe of the original Twister, but not the soul, because it's pretty much the exact same thing that you are expecting, except this time the character are trying to stop a tornado. Because in the first movie, they're trying to track or like using the or like I guess gather the data for a tornado, and that becomes like the main goal for the character from the first movie. And on the second movie, they try to actually stop a tornado, and interestingly enough, Helen Hunt, which is the original actress for Joe Harding, right? Originally she's actually supposed to return for a sequel, and then she actually has an idea that she pitched to the studio, and apparently the idea was actually having a bunch of college students that's trying to stop a tornado, trying to find a way to actually stopping a tornado. And Helen Hunt was supposed to return, and she was supposed to write and direct the movie, but the studio didn't actually use her idea. But interestingly enough, this movie has the same idea that Helen Hunt was pitching. At least that's what I heard from her pitch to the studio, which is like, okay, that's pretty weird that you reject Helen Hunt's idea and then decide to use a similar idea, kind of like her ideas originally. And it's just like super weird to learn that, because I feel like it's just a mistake for not bringing back Helen Hunt for this movie, because again, this movie tells a new story and a new characters, named Kate Cooper and Tyler Owens, played by Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell. So it's about Kate again. Kate Cooper is our main protagonist, and she's trying to find a way to stop a tornado, because I think she is traumatized by the tornado, kind of like how Joe was traumatized by a tornado, and you can definitely see some of the similarities between our character story and the old character, from the original Twisters, and I feel like the standout of the cast member here is obviously Glenn Powell, because he's playing like a YouTuber that chases around Storm, but he's not exactly a dumbass, he actually knows his stuff, he actually studies tornado, he knows how to handle a tornado properly, so it's really a fun dynamic, that you get a professional character, that knows tornado, but also a YouTuber at the same time, so it makes that every single time that Glenn Powell's character are trying to chase down a tornado, it's actually a great and fun scene in my opinion. Because I think Glenn Powell was the most charismatic actor in this movie. And it's like, yeah, I think it definitely showed, because every single time he chased a tornado, the scene was just like super fun, and then I have a smile at my face, and it's just like really really fun idea to have that kind of character in the movie, but not making him a dumbass, so which I'm really glad, so yeah, that's the dynamic between our cast members, between the two of them here, Kate and Tyler, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, the casting from this movie is not bad, but I would say it's not gonna match the original casting of Twister. I think Helen Hunt and especially Bill Paxton and Philip Seymour Hoffman, like, they are way more superior, obviously, because like Dusty and Bill is actually just a really fun character to listen in the original movie, especially Dusty character, like so animated, because I think Philip Seymour Hoffman played that character really well done, and the closest thing we get of the character in this movie are obviously Glenn Powell's character, which is pretty fun. But the rest of them are just fine, to be honest. They're not bad, but they're just fine, and I guess that's the sentiment that I had about this movie. This movie is fine. It's not bad. It's not boring. I certainly have a fun time watching it, but at the same time it's nothing new, because it's pretty much like the exact same movie, but except the goal was changing, where it's like now they're trying to stop a tornado. They gather a data and they try to stop a tornado this time around, but it's pretty much the same, that you drive to the tornado and try to get your item to the tornado. In the first movie is the Dorothy device, which they bring back into this movie. And now in this one, they like a bunch of, I guess not a device, but a bunch of salt. I think they try to use it to stop the tornado. Like it was explained more in the movie, which is fine. I don't know if it was scientifically accurate, but then again, this is a movie, so I think it's pretty much fine for the goal that the character is trying to do here. But it's just like, yeah, it's nothing new, sadly enough. So yeah, I think this movie is just like, I don't know. This movie could be stand on its own if it doesn't call twisters. If the movie title wasn't actually Twister, then I think it will be, I don't know. I think it will be maybe a bit better, I guess. But at the same time, being a standalone sequel to Twisters is definitely really weird, because like there is some connection to the first movie. Like I said, the Dorothy device appeared in the beginning, but I feel like the connection was like so thin, and I was like, damn, it seems like tack on. It's like, hey, like remember Dorothy, the device from Twister? Like, yeah, we bring them back in this movie. Only in the beginning though, not the rest of the movie. I'm just like, okay, cool. I guess cool. It shows that the data actually work, but at the same time, they don't even mention Helen Hunt's and Bill Paxton's character in this movie, and I'm just like, why? I feel like you should credit them even though they don't appear, And again, going back to my point, I feel like it's a mistake to not bring back Helen Hunt to star in this movie, because I was hungry for her and the rest of the original cast member to at least have some cameo in the movie, because I would love to have that connecting tissue, and I would love to see Helen Hunt to come back and reprise her role again, and then maybe leading this new team to basically achieve their own goal. I must prefer that compared to this new team. Again, the new team is not bad. They're not bad, but it's just like, again, come on, man. It's being a sequel to the Twisters. I would love to see her come back. Like this is my wishes. Also, I want to talk about the, I guess the VFX of the movie. Because like this movie's budget is actually $200 million, which is like really surprising to me, because I thought that when you are making a tornado movie, I know that it's like a VFX involved, but I did not expect the budget to be 200 million. Like, holy shit, dude, that is a lot of money. And that's the wild stuff, guys. I think the VFX in this movie is not exactly great. They're good, but they're not great. And I would love to bring this comparison to some of you guys, because like I watched this movie back in 2014, which is another tornado movie called Into the Storm. And I want you guys to pay attention to the VFX, the tornado VFX in this movie, because in my opinion, the VFX on Into the Storm, which released 10 years ago, was actually much more superior compared to this movie. Like the tornado in Into the Storm was much more clear, and it seems real. It looks real, to be honest, especially the EF5 tornado. Like it looks like an actual EF5 tornado just touching down on a location. It looks so real. And guess what? The movie's budget for Into the Storm was $50 million. So it's like 4 times less than this movie, essentially, or I guess 3 times less than Twisters. And it's just wild to me, man. Like how could a movie from this day and has a 200 million budget, for the budget, and then the VFX for the tornado is good, but they're not great because sometimes they don't seem real. But from a movie from 2014 called Into the Storm has a 15 million budget, and somehow the tornado in that movie, in my opinion, looks way more real and way more realistic compared to this movie. Like that's just wild to me, man. Like holy shit, dude. Like I guess it's not a surprise for today's audience that yeah, the VFX on today's movie are not that great. Like they're good, but they're not great. And I think the era from 2012 to 2014 are the best era for visual effects. Because obviously they have a lot of time back in the day, and they have a proper budgeting and scheduling, I'm assuming. And you don't get that anymore in the current era of Hollywood. That yeah, the VFX team are pretty much abused. And I'm not saying that this studio actually abusing the VFX team for this movie, but it's clearly shown that, in my opinion, the VFX on this movie is not better than a movie from 2014 that only has a 50 million budget. Like this is insane to me, man. Like holy shit, you know. Also, one more thing before I wrap up this review, I want to talk about the score of the movie by Benjamin Wolfich. I think the score are pretty fun, you know, because you get again, you definitely get the vibe of the Twister chase scene. However, I am a bit upset that Benjamin Wolfich didn't bring back any Mark Mancina score from the original Twister. Like why? I think Mark Mancina's score from the original Twister was so iconic, you know, like it was so grand, and it feels like you are on an adventure, you know. It was so adrenaline heavy, it was so exciting, and I'm really upset that Benjamin Wolfers didn't bring back the score from Mark Mancina, you know. And I even said that off from my Twister review that I wish that he bring back the original score, but he did. You know, I think it was reference to be honest, you know. But if it was like, yeah, it's just a reference. It's not exactly they bring back or like remixing the original theme on this movie, and that kind of upsets me, you know, because I think the original score was so iconic. It was so adventurous, you know, and it was like so fulfilling at the same time. And I feel like this movie score was just like it's fine. Again, they're not bad, but they're just fine. And that's pretty much the vibe that I could get that I get from watching this movie. That it's just like it's a fun sequel. You know, I think people will find some enjoyment. I think you'll find some fun moments here and there, you know, because I think the directing is also really good. This movie is directed by Lee Isaac Chung, you know, which I'm really glad that he decided to shoot the movie on. Actually, shot the movie on Oklahoma, you know, which is like the original movie was, and it was again the directing is fun. The score was okay. The character was okay. You know, I think Glenn Powell are definitely the standout among the cast. You know, so he's really fun in the movie, so that's great. And the VFX were just good. You know, they're not great, but they're good. And there is definitely some shot there where I was like, well, the tornado are obviously not there. But again, it's just pretty insane that I'm remembering the movie Into the Storm, and it feels like the tornado was actually right in front of the character, you know. And that movie was from 10 years ago, and it has a 50 million budget, and it's just insane that that movie has a way more real tornado compared to this one, you know. Yeah, that's my review for Twisters, you know. I like it, you know. I don't exactly loving it, but it was okay, you know. And I think some of you guys will have some fun time watching the movie, you know. So let me know in the comment section below if you guys are eventually watching this movie. Then let me know what you guys think about the movie. You know, do you guys like this standalone sequel, or do you guys think this is unnecessary? You know, and I would especially love to hear your opinions. You know, because again, this is probably just me, but I think the VFX on Into the Storm is actually way better than Twisters. You know, and when you guys finally watch this movie, I want to know your guys' opinion. Like, is the tornado from this movie are actually way better than Into the Storm? Because I don't think they're way better in my opinion, you know. So which one is better, Into the Storm tornado or Twister's tornado, you know? Let me know all that in the comment section below, guys. And if you guys enjoy this review, then make sure to guys, you know, twist that subscribe and like button, guys, and share the videos to usual stuff, you know. And again, stay tuned for more reviews in the future. And again, I hope you guys enjoy this review, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.